Hey, Diney, we are back.
Funny that.
Another week, and we love it here.
It's been a huge week, Nicola.
It certainly has.
It's been a huge week.
It's been great. And it was great being, a guest on Mark Boros's
Unbelievable.
Incredible feedback. So tune into that one. And we even had a time for a little bit of a hit of golf last week as well. Can you believe it? Which is fun.
There was a storm, this really sort of black, big cumulus clouds, and they were sort of hovering on the horizon, and we're going, oh no, it's not going to stop us. It's not going to stop us. It's not going to stop. We went right through.
We winged it
and
again.
Then bang, the rain came.
Exactly.
Love that.
So
Love that.
That was fantastic.
Yeah,
so
that intention.
That
in
was
life.
great. But look, I'm excited because we have got someone very special who is in WA, Western Australia. So let me introduce you to Sarah Rusbatch, who's going to joining us here at the back fence. Sarah, once a party girl, always with a drink in her hand, until really Sarah hit rock bottom and really everything changed. She's now the best-selling author of Beyond Booze, award-winning health and wellness coach, an accredited grey area drinking coach, and I really want to know more about that because I didn't really know too much about the grey drinking, and helping women in midlife with confidence, energy and purpose. So since quitting booze in 2019, Sarah's coached thousands, hosting sober parties and showing that life can be healthier and lots of fun. So welcome to the back fence, Sarah.
Welcome, Sarah.
We're really thrilled to have you here and learn more.
Thanks for having me.
I used to live in Perth
you did.
quite a few years, in South Perth.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I loved it. I actually had fun in Perth. It was
So beautiful.
could have been another country. It's so far away from the eastern states, but exquisite. Just the most exquisite beaches.
I can hear an English accent though, Sarah.
I can.
Tell us a bit about you.
Like quite seriously, loved reading about you and where you are at this stage in your life. I actually enjoyed following your journey. But look, there's so many ways to unpack your journey, but I'd love to start with something along the lines of you're working in senior roles in marketing and management in the UK and Australia. And you started, which I've noticed myself, noticing wine o'clock, the culture and that particular lifestyle. I want to know, what was it, do you think, that triggered that observation, and what started changing in you when you were a part of that?
Yeah, so I'd always been a big drinker. I think it was inherent in my culture growing up in the north of England. I started drinking quite young, at the age of 14. It was kind of pretty standard back then. We would fill up soda stream bottles. We would go down the local park and just drink whatever we'd managed to nick from our parents' drinks cabinet. And
So true.
we would usually go get drunk, vomit behind the bushes, go home and kind of do it all again the next weekend. And it was like this rite of passage that was pretty standard back then. This was the early 90s, and it was pretty loose. And I then went to uni, which was a very big drinking culture, and then moved to London. I was talking about this, I was doing a workplace presentation at a legal firm the other day, and I was saying my first job that I got in London was in 1998, and it was a 4-stage interview process. So the first 3 interviews were very formal. They were very serious in a office environment, and then the 4th stage of the interview process was going to the pub to do shots of flaming sambuca to see how well you could handle your booze.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And that was the 1990s in London.
And you never burnt your mouth.
Wow, gosh. You know what? I do remember I had a job in London years ago, and I've got to actually say I think it might have been in the late 80s. So it's earlier than you, Sarah. And that was in England. And I remember the sales manager said, okay, Nicola, you've got the final interview. Let's come down and have a gin and tonic in the bar. And I said, oh, great, okay. And it was funny. That was
The start
part
of
actually, you reminded me. I forgot that was with work.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing how that's changed, though, now, hasn't it?
Well, back then, what were you observing in your particular work culture?
Yeah, I think I worked in recruitment. It was a very alcohol-fueled.
So you got the job?
I got the job.
Yeah.
Flying colours.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we were very focused on, it was work hard, play hard back in London in those days. And we we all kind of took on, in London, no one's driving, no one's, got cars or whatever. Every night of the week, there was someone to go and drink with. And so, we definitely took that on. And what really changed for me was after making that decision to leave London and to move to Australia, I then had 2 kids under 2. And it was really disconcerting time because I'd had this very successful career in London. I'd made the move to go from London to Perth. I'd become a mum. And all of a sudden, I was on the other side of the world with, no family, no friends, 2 kids under 2, no job. My days were being spent, pureeing carrot, changing nappies, going to monkey music. And I didn't really know who I was. I was very homesick. I was very lonely. And this coincided with a period in time in both Australian and British culture, which was wine o'clock, which was mum deserves wine, which was the way to unwind after a big day of parenting was to drink alcohol. And there was a really big push that was happening in social media at the time. People were sharing memes all the time that were like, oh, they said that I could only have 1 glass a day. And so they would have those glasses that fitted an entire bottle in them.
Right.
We do remember them.
I do. And we would all think that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I kind of fell for that hook, line and sinker. It was like, you didn't need to tell me that I deserved that glass of wine. And what I realized is that alcohol was massively acting as like an emotional crutch for me. So while I never got to the point where I felt physically dependent on alcohol, I was definitely using it to escape any uncomfortable emotion that I didn't want to feel. And I was feeling a lot of uncomfortable emotions. I'd left behind my entire friendship group, all of my family, and I was on the other side of the world. I didn't know anyone, and I was meeting some lovely people, but it's not the same as the depth of friendship that you've got with the people that you've known for 20 years. And it was a really difficult time, and alcohol became the solution to the way that I was feeling at that time.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah,
though.
and then so what was the shift for you? Because that was also, I guess, from England and Australia as well. A lot of our cultures are kind of similar a bit. We can relate a bit to, like I say,
Bob Hawke.
Bob Hawke, didn't it? He
Our
was
Prime
pissed,
Minister,
there, and it was part of the culture. And I even remember him from school days too. And it was a bit, now I'm embarrassed to say, and things have changed, fortunately, so much. The culture shifted, and but it was like then getting blind drunk. How was your weekend? I got blind drunk, and we thought that was
got
cool.
A hangover.
Yeah, and now I'm going, that's just not cool. But what was the shift for you? From yes, you're starting to rely on it, but then was it a thing? Then you're going, were you sick, or was there sort of something? What happened to you? Was there some sort of trigger that you just said, right, that's it?
Yeah, there was a few things. Like there wasn't, like one big event. I didn't lose my job. I didn't, there wasn't anything like that. But what happened for me was a steady realization that once I got into my 40s, alcohol was not the same as it used to be in my 20s and 30s. So I never used to get hangovers. I had a high capacity for alcohol, and I prided myself on the fact that I could match the boys pint for pint. I was, I came from a really big drinking family. It was in my whole lineage that alcohol was strong, it was present. I had, a background of alcoholism in my family. And so alcohol was always likely to be part of my life, and I had a big capacity for it. But what happened after 40 was that kind of steady increase of like anxiety that lasted for a few days. The fact that alcohol would really impact my sleep. The fact that what used to work at the gym to help with, keeping the bloat away and not putting on too much weight wasn't really working anymore. I wasn't getting the results at the gym that I wanted. I was just more and more feeling, is this it? Is this my life? I stopped looking forward to things that didn't involve alcohol. It was kind of like that was the only thing, if you'd asked me back then, what are your hobbies? I'd have kind of looked at you and said, well, drinking.
With my buddies.
All I did with my spare time was kind of just go round to a mate's house and get pissed and sit in her back garden and smoke Marlboro Lights and drink Chardonnay. And, it was a real thing at that time. It was a real cultural shift that had happened with women. And I feel like we kind of normalized it as being, that's what you do to have fun as a woman over 40.
Yeah.
And I went to my doctor and I remember saying to her, I'm a shell of the woman I used to be. Like I'm procrastinating all the time. I'm overthinking everything. I worry about what I said, what I did. Like every morning I would just have this sick dread feeling. And at no point did she say to me, how much are you drinking? It was just it didn't even come up. She happily gave me a prescription for anti-anxiety meds, but that I now know should never have been mixed with alcohol. But the conversation around alcohol didn't come up. And then I had a party that I went to, a friend's 40th, and I got really drunk and I fell over and I landed on my face on a concrete driveway. And so I, cut my lip, cut my nose, there was blood everywhere. And the next day, like, I woke up to my 5-year-old daughter standing by my bed going, Mummy, what happened to your face? And when you just that.
And what did you say?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, I just said, oh, Mummy fell over. But the self-disgust.
Yeah, I get it.
The self-loathing was just gross. And so I decided, I'm going to take a 21-day break. They say it takes 21 days to break a habit. And in my head, all I had was a bad habit with alcohol. And I just needed to have a little bit of a reset, a bit of a liver detox, and then I would be fine.
fall like that will do it.
Yeah, and that's what I thought, I'll just take that break. But I kept going because I was like, oh my God, like all of the things that had been plaguing me disappeared. So my anxiety disappeared, my sleep improved, my energy improved, I lost weight, my skin was amazing, I started feeling happier, I was more positive, I was calmer with my kids, like all of these things started to change. And so I kept going after the 21 days and I got to 100 days. And then I was like, yeah, right, that's great, Sarah, but you can't never drink again because that would just be weird because you're Sarah the party girl. But now that you've had 100 days off, you clearly don't have a problem with alcohol because you wouldn't have been able to take 100 days off if you did. So now this is fine. You can be a grown-up drinker. You're just going to be a normal grown-up drinker that just has a glass of red wine with a steak once a fortnight, and that will be my drinking. And I honestly thought that that's what it would be like because I'd just done this 100 days off, and within a month I was back to drinking exactly the same as I had been before because that's often how it works. And it took 2 years of taking breaks, going back to drinking, taking breaks, trying to moderate, never really successfully being able to moderate. And then in 2019, I just was like, I'm done with this. I'm done. I know I can't moderate. And everything in my life is better when I don't drink. So the alcohol is going to go.
So my question to you is, during that 100 days, were you socializing without drinking?
Yeah.
And how was that for you?
It was clunky. Like it is clunky at first when you have been someone who's been a grey area drinker and you've been a pretty, big drinker at social events. You feel quite conspicuous and a little bit clunky. So I would just choose the things that I would go to and I would say no to the things I didn't want to go to and just be really selective with who I wanted to spend time with.
And you said then with the grey area drinking, can you really explain what that is and who made up the term?
I thought it was grey hair.
Well, we've heard about like the grey divorce, it's
confused.
People of our age, getting divorced, which seems to happen. And now with grey area drinking, is it to do with age or what? Tell us about that.
So grey area drinking is a term that was coined by Jolene Park in the States, and it describes the place between someone who's an every now and then drinker, so maybe someone that has a glass of champagne at a wedding once a year, and other than that, they don't think about alcohol. And then the other end of the spectrum is someone who would be described as an alcoholic, a physically dependent user of alcohol, someone who drinks every day, who needs medical support to withdraw from alcohol. So you've got a 1 and a 10 on that scale. And grey area drinking describes the place in the middle. And this is where I now support women. So it's people who are using alcohol to numb emotions. They're using alcohol to unwind. They're using alcohol to relax at the end of the day, to suppress their overwhelm. And it's become a crutch in some way, but they're not physically dependent. They might not drink every day. They don't drink in the morning. They can take breaks from alcohol, but they struggle to maintain that break or to keep on top of their drinking habits, and they often creep up again. So I've been supporting women in that grey area for quite some years now, and probably about 10,000 women have been through my programs and created change with their drinking, which has been great.
It's funny, Nicola, we often share our questions before we have an interview. I was only thinking this morning, I was thinking it's sort of unravelled something in me about, with alcohol, to me it's celebratory. It's like whether it's a wedding or someone's birthday or, a birth of a grandchild, which I enjoy and embrace. But I started thinking, I know you're going to think I'm mad, but I am mad, was Jesus Christ with sharing the wine at the Last Supper. He's got the wine, sharing it with the apostles.
I was wondering what you're going to say with
No,
Jesus Christ.
I know.
Just turned religious on me.
No, God, no.
God,
but it
no.
started like unravelling all like alcohol and history and, the monks were making the wine. And I started like breaking this down, like in our whole lives. Alcohol has just been like synonymous with just, and look, to me, I think also when like, in our age group, like if someone's feeling lost or whatever, we'll get together and we'll have a wine with them. It's like this connection thing. But
or a cuppa now too.
Yeah, but you and I will have a champagne with them.
Yeah, we've always
but
enjoyed that.
It's like, I think it's this grey area you were describing. It's like there's so much about alcohol that can be quite beautiful, as in celebratory, and I keep repeating that word. Cheers, congratulations, you've just got your degree at uni. Yes, you could go and have some tea and whatever, there's a choice. But I guess what I'm trying to say is where I need more of a fine line, like as in, because you're actually a sober coach, which I found fascinating, the term. Where's the fine line between, I know you were describing the grey area, but if I'm through the year, I'm not doing the one wedding, I'm at a wedding on the Sunday and have one wine and one champagne and, I'm having a sunset drink with a girlfriend, just one. Is it like about an addiction, as in, I have an addictive personality, I need to have more versus no, one or two is enough?
So
that was a lot to unpack, sorry.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
What were you trying to say, Di?
Jesus Christ to sunset champagne, but yeah.
So I think there's a few things here.
Yeah. Holy
Number one, what I would say is alcohol, the marketing of alcohol has just brainwashed all of us into thinking that the only way to celebrate is with an alcoholic drink. And I would argue you don't need alcohol to celebrate. Like that's just, just how alcohol has been, enriched in our culture. But that's definitely changing. The second thing is, you're wanting to know what are the signs someone's a grey area drinker? Like, where's the line between
more
healthy
specific,
drinking and unhealthy drinking? So we can look at numbers.
Yeah.
So anything above 10 units a week is alcohol use disorder. So
sorry, anything more than 10, did you say?
And what's 10? So we've got some water here. This is a glass.
Yeah.
Is 10 like one glass or two glasses or
so 10
approximately?
units a week would be one bottle of wine.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, right. And so that's what they say is
Do we fall
okay.
into that bracket?
Gee, well, I don't even have that sometimes.
Oh, but
Sometimes I do, sometimes
Bloody
I don't.
hell.
No,
No, we're good.
I actually enjoy not drinking as well. I really do.
We do a bit of both. So sorry, continue. Yeah.
So above 10 units a week would be mild alcohol use disorder, although the World Health Organization has come out and said any level of alcohol is not safe for the cancer risks that come from alcohol. And I think, a lot of people think you have to be drinking in significant amounts to be vulnerable to the health risks of alcohol, but we've actually now know that any more than 2 units a week will start to increase your risk of cancer caused by alcohol, particularly breast cancer for women. And that increases with every additional drink that you have. So we now know 40% of hormone positive breast cancer cases are caused by alcohol. And yet so many women don't know this. 1 in 5 breast cancer deaths are caused by alcohol. And people think that you have to be drinking significant amounts to be at risk, but you actually don't. So any more than 2 units of alcohol per week starts to increase that risk. And the more that you have than that, the bigger the
So what are we talking about, just quickly, just so if we're listening here going, what's a unit? Like 2 units, is that, say, like you're talking, say, like a glass of wine or something like that?
So a small
just
glass
so
of
we
wine
kind of
is
know.
125 mils.
Okay.
That would be a unit, but no one at home pours 125 mils. The average pour at home would be 250 mils, and that would be between 2 and 3 units, because depending on the alcohol volume of that wine, which some might be 9% and some might be 14%. but you could have 1 glass of wine could be 3 units. And even if you're having 3 glasses of wine a week, that would put you over 10 units of alcohol per week.
Which puts you as a grey drinker.
Do you know what? I came out of a 36-year marriage 3 years ago, Sarah, and I went on my first date with a guy, almost a year, isn't it? Last December. I couldn't have done that date unless I had just 1 glass of wine. It made me feel so calm. My nerves stopped. I was happier. I was calm. I could think clearly. Just one glass of wine, and because I was like a little child, and I don't know. It's just I just was reflecting on that again this morning, going how important that 1 glass was for me.
I think that's good, and I think it's good to say that. No, it's interesting because it's thing going. It's not telling people not to drink, and Sarah's certainly like that as well.
No.
But speaking awareness, and I think it's being educated, and I think then you can make your choices with a bit more sort of knowledge. And I think it's really good to refresh that because it's very easy to forget those things. And I think I love hearing these stats, Sarah, and I love hearing that. Whereas we're saying we're not telling people do or don't, and we've had people like Lisa Greenberg on, and she told it about her. You might know Lisa. You should follow her if you don't.
Yeah,
she's her story with sobriety. We've had, even with Tim Olsen, he doesn't drink now, but he had his rock bottom moment, a bit like you were saying with your daughter when you fell over. Yeah. He had one, it was just going on and it was Christmas and he was like, and he had to actually, it wasn't addiction, he had to go and be supervised to get off it, and he doesn't drink again. But it's interesting because it doesn't mean you don't have to drink, and then you have your first date with the guy. But some people...
But my question, I want to ask a question around what I was saying, is as an alternative, something positive, what do you suggest I could have done as opposed to go for some alcohol to calm my nerves?
And I think it's about putting this into context. 1 glass of wine before a date to settle your nerves. There's nothing wrong with that.
There was more. There was more. I'm hiding. I'm hiding. I'm trying to be a good girl.
Well, that was the first one.
No, give me can you give me an alternative, like something like as backup, as opposed to reaching for a glass of wine for something like that?
The women that I work with use alcohol-free alternatives. And they find that works really well. So an alcohol-free gin and tonic, an alcohol-free champagne, they've come so far now. And that, because so often it's just even the brain is looking for something that it expects to have in that moment.
Placebo.
It uses that instead.
I'm loving this.
You know what, Di? I got to say that's true. When I've had some times when I'm saying a health kick or whatever, and I sort of think I'll be off the booze for a period of time. And I like, say, if I have a vodka and tonic or something, but I won't have then the vodka, but I'll have my soda water and I'll have a big, chunks of ice, and I'll have my lime and lemon. And I remember having that, and my son saying to me, this is a few years ago when he was still at school, and because I'd have that sort of in the morning, and I was having that because I wasn't drinking. I remember then Harrison saying, he goes, Mum, he thought I was having vodkas all day then. And he said, Mum, are you having...
And you said drink bottles of
it. So I'm not actually drinking at the moment. Because I would have it made it look like a cocktail, and because I loved it so much, that I find it easy if you do go to a party, it's a bit of a mindset thing that you can have sparkling water and sparkling... No one even knows.
You know what's interesting is I was at the alcohol shop last night buying, because I like a vodka tonic at sunset, and I was having a chat to him, because you've opened this whole big gaping big question mark in my mind lately in the last 24 hours. And I said to him tell me about how, because he said he'd worked there for 20 years. I said, tell me about alcohol sales, A, and B, the younger kids. He said, I can tell you now, we're not selling as much. We're actually selling non-alcoholic drinks to them. And he said the word, and there's no stigma attached with it. It's cool and it's okay. Well, I think in our day it was like, you're a dad.
It's a culture shift, and I think that we're really lucky. And I think younger people, if they're going to listen back and hear stories like you, Sarah, and ours, even going back into the 80s, would be shocked and would be really, but we weren't like the thing that we weren't informed. We didn't know all that, and that's why I think it's really good. And we both noticed too. You talk about with menopause as we've aged. Yeah. We are similar that way. We're lucky. I've never had an addictive thing or a thing like that. My body actually tells me to stop drinking.
Same here.
So even if I wanted to, I actually can't have it.
We both have that click.
I do like one glass, or I might have two. Love a champagne. I really do. But I'll go out and then I'll just have water.
We don't want it anymore, do we?
And I've gone out with people who've drunk a lot. I've been to a lot of social things, and I just then very happy on the water. But it's funny, my body actually, as I've aged, well, as I was saying, when I was younger, I'd get blind drunk, and that's, kind of really embarrassed to say that. But I could do that, and I can't. And what is that with aging, and especially for women, Sarah?
So women are just less effective at metabolizing alcohol than men. So there's an enzyme called alcohol dehydrogenase, ALDH, which is the enzyme in the human body that helps us to metabolize and remove alcohol from the body because it's a toxin and it's poison to the human body. And women produce less of this enzyme than men. So if a man and a woman both drink the same amount, because women have less ability to remove the alcohol, more of the alcohol will enter a woman's bloodstream and carry it to all the organs in her body. So for a man and woman drinking the same amount, women and men are both vulnerable to the health risks of alcohol-related stroke. It will happen 7 times faster to a woman. Alcohol-related heart disease will happen 4 times quicker to a woman. Alcohol-related liver disease will happen quicker to a woman. Alcohol-related addiction will happen quicker to a woman. So while we've had this big shift in culture towards promoting alcohol to women as the solution, and the mummy wine culture and all of that, there's been very little regard given to the fact that women simply can't process alcohol the same as men. And it's dangerous, way more dangerous for women to drink at that level than it is for a man, because a man's body is just more efficient at breaking down and removing alcohol. So this is why it's so concerning that, we had this big revolution where the alcohol industry were like, and then these are facts, by the way, 30 years ago, the alcohol industry decided they were not making enough money from women. So they decided to segment their marketing to create drinks specifically for women, to get women addicted to alcohol and spending more on it. So that was when they started creating pink drinks. I mean, it's so basic when you think about it, imagining all these men going, oh yeah, we'll just make pink drinks and then they'll all drink it and they'll spend more. It just makes my blood boil so much. And I feel like we all fell for it hook, line and sinker. I did. I was like, I love pink champagne. I love my pink rosé. And I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what color it is. Alcohol is still a level 1 carcinogen in the same category as tobacco and causes the same health risks as tobacco. But I feel like we've kind of lost sight of that in the creation of all of these drinks that taste less like alcohol and are more visually appealing.
More sugar too. Tell us about being a sober coach. Tell us about that and give us an example of Nick and I sitting in the audience. Like, what would you explore?
So I did the first interview that I did with Mamma Mia back in 2021. I shared my story as a grey area drinker, and just what that had been like for me, why I was using alcohol, what it looked like day to day. And I wasn't an alcoholic, right? So I didn't drink every day. I just was very normal and very honest about my drinking. And I didn't know what the response would be. I just had no idea how it would land, but I was like, let's see. The next day, 8,000 women had contacted me, and they all said, Sarah, you've just told my story. And that was when I realized there's so many women who are silently struggling with their alcohol, but they don't identify as being alcoholics. So they don't want to go to an AA meeting and say, hi, I'm Sarah, I'm an alcoholic, because that's not the label that they have. But at the same time, they don't know how to change their drinking, and they realized it's becoming problematic, but they've got nothing else in their toolkit to manage their stress, to handle their emotions, like for whatever reason they're using alcohol. So all of the programs that I offer, and as I said, I've had over 10,000 women through my programs now, support women with tools of what to do at 5 o'clock when the craving hits, and it's your habit to
give us those tools.
Yes, what's some examples of that? Like, people listening now going, what are some? What can we do?
So there's a million things. So exercise was a massive one for me. When I first stopped drinking, I would do a 5 o'clock body attack class, and that just got me out of the house. It got my endorphins going, and it just broke the cycle. Alcohol-free drinks are a great one. Getting out of the house and going for a walk, journaling, meditation, having a bath, cooking, like whatever the things are that you enjoy doing. And what I find so many women get to experience when they change their drinking is they discover all their hobbies again, because alcohol has been, just the thing that they've done whenever they've had any spare time. But because alcohol when we remove it, we increase our energy so much. We get lots of time back. We've got more mental clarity. We don't feel foggy and tired anymore. So they start exploring more hobbies. They take up more interests, and their life just gets richer and more fulfilling, which is great.
So there's no crux, in other words. I think you use that terminology up front in this interview.
Do you think it is also a genetic thing? You know how some you're sort of saying when you could have your 100 days straight, and Lisa Greenberg blew me away. She doesn't drink now, but she went for periods of she could do the same thing like you. But then when she'd go back drinking, she literally couldn't stop, and it seems a bit like you. Is that a genetic thing? Why is it that some people, you know, you start again and the next minute, you know, your month goes and you're back where you were really again? Why is it that some people just go, actually don't want to have any more than the one? Or, you know, there are many people, you know, once you're starting, you know, hope their bottle's gone.
There's a few factors that are risk factors as to whether someone will develop a dysfunctional relationship with alcohol. Part of it is genetic, but not as much as you would think.
Right.
Part of it is your neurotransmitters, so how much your brain gets lit up by alcohol in the dopamine center. So my friend Christine, she'll have a glass of wine. This is us in our 20s. And after a couple of drinks, she'll be like, oh, I've had enough. I'm going to have a cup of tea now. Like, alcohol didn't light her up. Whereas me, I got lit up like a bloody Christmas tree. Like, I
love that.
And I was like, oh my God, this party is not ending.
Keep up, everyone, keep up.
Right? And alcohol just lit my brain up massively. And then the third thing is trauma. So if we know that if people have had early childhood trauma or any kind of childhood trauma, that there is a higher likelihood that they will develop a dysfunctional relationship with alcohol. And then the fourth thing is if you've ever reached a point in your life where you have used alcohol as a solution to stress, your brain creates like a neural pathway that goes, when I'm stressed, I have alcohol, and that makes that stress go away. And that's a really dangerous place to be, because if, like, show me a woman who's not stressed, right, and doesn't experience stress. And if you created that short circuit, that alcohol is the solution to stress, our beautiful brain, its number one job is survival. Its number one job is to make us feel safe. And it doesn't like it when we feel stressed. And if it's worked out, alcohol stops her feeling stressed, it almost like creates this immediate thought, I'm stressed, I must have a drink. And that's a really dangerous place to be for women. And I see that I've got many women who didn't have a problematic relationship with alcohol in their teens or 20s, but the older they've got, it's become their go-to for stress or for overwhelm. And that's when it's become problematic. So it's not always that someone's had a problem with alcohol their whole life.
And you're normalising it now too, which I think is really good, Sarah, because it's also for people who might be listening and who are really sort of feeling that way, that it's great that they can reach out to you and that they're not alone when there, you know, is sort of like, you know, that issue, and also just to sort of know about how, as we do age, it's you know, it's not that good for us having too much. You know,
it's fascinating. She just jogged my memory about years ago, and I was doing live television. Someone said, because I came out in a rash the first night before going to air live. I'd never been on television before, and someone said, "You'll be fine. Have a glass of wine." And something in my brain said, if you have one tomorrow before you do the live show, 5 mornings a week, you'll have to have a glass of wine. So as much as I thought, I need it, I stopped and I never...
Lucky it wasn't late night TV, John.
Well, then I probably could have got away with it. But I'll never forget that. I'll never forget, I never went near it because I knew if I started once, I couldn't do the show without knowing that would be my crux, as you put it, and something I could fall back on. The other thing I want to talk about is the mind games with... Let's just say that's a glass of wine there right now. Should I? Ought I? I can't. Oh, I can. What's the time? Maybe. Oh, it might keep me awake. It's the mind games that go on with alcohol.
Yeah, and we talk about this a lot in my groups, like that mental chatter. Alcohol takes up a lot of mental space when we're a grey area drinker. Someone who's not a grey area drinker, they just don't think about it. It's like, do I want to drink? Do I not want to drink? That's that. Someone who's a grey area drinker, they will start justifying why they're having a drink, even though they know they shouldn't. So, it's Tuesday. I don't normally drink on a Tuesday. I shouldn't drink on a Tuesday, but I really fancy having a drink. But maybe I could have one tonight, and then that means I won't.
Cheeky Tuesday or something, yeah.
And you've got all of this chat.
Exhausting.
It's so exhausting, and that's why for so many people, it's easier to just take it off the table and just go, I've outgrown alcohol. It's not always about going, I've had a big problem with it. It's like, show me a midlife woman who's in perimenopause that doesn't get some negative impact from drinking. Like, it increases anxiety, it causes hot sweats, it disrupts our sleep. And so there is definitely a acceptance of going, I've outgrown alcohol. It doesn't work like it used to. I'm going to go and just find some other healthier tools to manage my stress or whatever it might be, than it is to try and keep it and moderate it.
Well, I'm so pleased it's now a lot more on trend. It's also a lot more socially acceptable not to drink, whereas it used to be a stigma. It was, really ridiculous, but it was the other way around. Like, how'd you feel going socially? Whereas now it's no big deal, and younger ones constantly go to parties and they don't drink, or they'll have like the non-alcoholic one. It's kind of standard, and it seems to be that sort of a cool thing. But we all kind of know some people who are struggling and they're not really getting the help that they should get, or they, everyone probably might know within themselves. What do you say, when you're a friend, or could have been a person very close to you who drinks way too much? They're not going to stop, and the only person, I guess, make them stop is themselves. Is there anything you think that you could sort of tip them into, or a slow nudge,
straight
or
shooter,
sort of
or a
something?
diplomatic?
Yeah, because what do you do? What do you say, or what do you suggest?
While you're pouring a glass of wine.
Yeah, it's really hard, and I get messages constantly from husbands saying that they'd like help with their wives. I get messages from friends, from sisters, but unless that person wants to change, you can't tell them.
No.
So true.
So you can drop hints. You can say, I'm worried about your drinking. You could share a podcast. Like, I always say to women, like, the best thing you can do is just empower yourself to learn the facts about women and alcohol, and then you can make an informed decision when you know the risks. But it's, it's astounding how few women know the impact that alcohol has with regards to breast cancer and things like that. And
it's good to know that too.
It's good to share that. Like, I've got a couple of really good episodes with doctors that I've done where we've gone really into the health impact of alcohol for women. And I always say to people, if they reach out to me, look, just share this podcast episode with her and see if that prompts her to think about whether she might want to consider taking a break, or buy her a copy of my book, Beyond Booze, which is, really written for women aged 40 to 70 who are looking to create change with their alcohol, but they don't want to reach out publicly for support. And so it's a great place to start as well.
Congratulations
it's very
on that.
Mel Gibson, very much led them. Like, rescuing people can be dangerous. It's innate in your heart to desire to help the human race. But like you just said, unless they do it themselves ultimately.
But that's a good way of doing it, listening to that and listening to your podcast. And you're certainly helping a lot of
great
people.
Book. Beyond Booze. Great. It's available everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we'll have the links
brilliant,
also.
Brilliant layout.
Now tell us about you. I mean, did your husband join the party, as in not drinking as well with you? Did he sort of go, look, I'm not going to either? And you're both, because your skin's looking great. And how are you feeling?
I can't believe you said that. I was just thinking how beautiful skin is.
I know. So tell us the changes from you, because it's 2019 and what are we, 2025?
I feel like I'm aging backwards. I turned 50.
I love it. Benjamin Button.
Sounds good.
Feel that. I turn 50 next
That's
year.
amazing.
Yes,
Tells me I've got a biological age of 45.
Woohoo!
So my goal is to get to celebrate my 40th again.
Yes.
This is good. This is good.
Like this.
This is my language.
Physical health that I've ever been in, the best mental health that I've ever been in. I have such self-awareness now. The role modeling that I'm doing to my kids, they're 14 and 15, so they're alcohol curious. Some friends are starting to drink, so we're having conversations that I certainly never had with my parents around alcohol, and being able to make informed decisions. And what I can role model to them, my kids see me go out dancing, they see me go to parties, they see me go to barbecues, to weddings, on holiday, without needing a drink. And that's so positive in terms of that role modeling to them, because they know you don't need alcohol to have fun. Mum goes out with her mates all the time and doesn't drink. And so it's just really, it's so self-assuring for me to know that I'm modeling something very different to my kids than what was modeled to me.
Well,
and I love
Sarah.
what you've been modeling to 10,000 women. Can I ask a question? What are the odds of the 10,000 women that have either come through your courses or read your books? What percentage would you say have actually given up alcohol? Ballpark.
Everyone comes to me wanting to completely stop. Most people come to me wanting to create change. I would say about half of the, we were going through the results actually of all the programs we've done. 97% created change to their drinking habits as a result of completing the program.
Okay, I like the way you said that. I like the way you worded that.
Bravo.
Bravo.
Well, look, I think it's really good. I really like just to be more aware, and it's always great because, health is our wealth in all areas, like that. True. So we can sort of say like a cheers to that. Now, we've got some of our signature questions.
Cheers with our water.
Yeah, you can absolutely do cheers with our water, and I love it.
We did a teaser the other day. We put water into our glasses for a celebration for the female jockey that won the Melbourne Cup. So many people said to me, I showed them the teaser, and they went, "That's water in your glass."
I knew it would be. Because it wasn't. No, it was only because it was sparkling. Because we're going with the cheers there. But
I went exactly. It was really fun because you just passed it to me on cheers.
Because they're in champagne
glasses. What's wrong with
glasses.
Cherry's water?
We just needed the sparkling one that had the bubbles, which is a great thing. But look, if you could share a back fence, Sarah, with anybody on planet Earth, who would it be and why?
Oh my goodness. Who would I... At the moment, I'm obsessed with Dr. Stacey Sims. She is a female science-backed researcher that is just a pioneer.
Our producer's shaking her head
Sam,
going, she's on. Yes. Tell
it.
us quickly a bit more about her.
Sims.
Yes. She's strength training, is she?
She's changed my body composition through what I've been following. I'm now trained under her as a coach, and I run programs sharing her protocols for women's nutrition.
God, you're not. You're unstoppable.
Our producer's nodding her head, going yes, yes, yes. And
I'm so proud of you, Sarah.
She's so fit and does all the weights. Very impressive.
So, Stacey Sims. Okay, my next question is, what makes you happy? Sorry about that.
What makes me happy is doing the things I love with the people I love. So it's as simple as that. It's being with my kids at the beach. It's being with my husband cooking dinner. It's just so simple. And I think we overthink happiness way too much. And it's just being present in that moment. It's a morning walk with my dog when the sun is rising. It's being with the people I love, doing the things I love.
Oh,
beautiful.
You make my heart sing. I couldn't agree with you more. It's the small things in life are the big things in life, and the simple things of walking your dog with a coffee or your family
Seeing
are
a
the
sunset.
best. And now I'd like to really know this with you, Sarah. If you could wind back that clock, what advice would you give to your 20-year-old party girl, Sarah Self?
I'd probably say you've got about 10 years left in you to keep living this way. Don't push it too hard. Like, know when to stop, and you don't have to constantly be this party girl persona to get people to like you. You are enough exactly as you are. I started drinking quite young, and I was quite socially awkward, and the feedback I got at quite a young age was, you're hilarious when you're
confident.
Drunk. You're so fun when you're drunk. So you build this persona that, that's what makes people like me, drunk Sarah. And I carried that for a really long time, and something I had to pull apart when I stopped drinking was, would people still want to be my friend? Would people still like me? And actually, I had a beautiful moment with a really close friend, and she said to me, "You're so much more fun now you don't drink." And I was like, that was exactly what I needed to hear.
That's beautiful. Do you know
really,
what I called it?
I love hearing that. It's so
called
authentic.
It ghosting yourself, because I used to do it too. I used to think that I have to drink to be out there and vivacious and whatever, and confidence and whatever. And yet...
You can go on your next date with your next boyfriend. No, it's going to stay with him.
I'll take a glass of milk with Kahlua. No, I'm only joking. No,
so
seriously.
Look, thank you so much for coming on. We love everyone to rate and review. As we said at the start, please follow us on YouTube, subscribe to that, and we do like the ratings. Now, I don't know if you know, Sarah, Di gives her own ratings. Now, we've got got a bit of hair on the face here. Di's got her own rating system. We've got Sarah all the way from WA at our back fence.
That rhymes.
Yeah.
All the way from WA.
How many bubbly stars?
It's easy. 10,000 out of 5.
Oh, there we go. 10,000 women
so
she's
simple.
changed.
Well done, Sarah.
Yeah, you're making a difference.
You're brave and courageous and out there doing something.
Yeah,
You
speaking
proved
from
it
the
to
heart.
yourself. Now you're sharing that magic with all these incredible
Thank you.
people.
Bravo.
Well done.
Yeah, and for any of your listeners that want support, or this is, really, triggered any thoughts for them, I've got a free Facebook community, the Women's Wellbeing Collective, which is a great place to come and join and meet other women, or read my book, Beyond Booze, because it's really a great place to start if you are reflecting on your own relationship with alcohol. And I run women's alcohol-free challenges 4 times a year. The next one will be in January. We have hundreds of women from all over the world that come and take a break from alcohol together and really notice the improvements that they get from doing that.
Well,
Love that.
You're not alone anymore, guys.
You're not
If that's
alone,
an
and I think a
issue.
support group is great. You make new friends as well. So
We're
just
about
like
to
with
go
our
to
community,
dinner. We're about to go out for dinner. Have one glass of wine.
Yes, yeah.
Sarah, pleasure to meet you.
Yeah,
Truly and honestly.
Ciao, ciao. Thanks for
Pleasure.
listening, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, ciao, ciao.
Thank you.
Bye.